Do you have a fear that keeps on coming along in certain situations that is so strong that you are trying to avoid it, or you're going through it but you get very strong tension or butterflies that you get nervous, and then you mess up whatever you're doing? This video is for you. I want to show you what you can do to help yourself in those situations. So I am talking about emotional fear, for instance, a fear of doing something wrong, maybe a fear of failing. For instance, you go to an interview or you're doing some kind of performing where other people are watching or where another person is involved, so it's not just you. Or you might have to speak to an authoritarian person, somebody you feel like they have some sort of power over you, and you need to speak with them and tell them something, and you're really scared of that. So notice that there is a fear of the other person's reaction, right? Probably the other person's judgment, to be accurate. And that is so very common. We've all gone through that. We've all got it. And it usually comes from our childhood experiences. And now we need to somehow go through this experience again and conjure up some courage, or somehow help ourselves to not let the fear win again, so that you mess up, or that you're not performing as well as you could do, or that you're maybe avoiding altogether, to actually go a step forward and put yourself into a situation where you could have an amazing win, but because of the fear, you are not even going there. The fear is so strong, or quite strong, that it actually feels very, very real, okay? That's true, isn't it? And the advice that some people give is like, feel the fear and do it anyway. I am not a fan of that, and I really don't think it works. And instead, I am actually doing the opposite. So I want to show you what you can do to help yourself. Number one, if it's very strong and you're wanting to react, you want to do something that isn't maybe the best thing to do, like getting into panic, take certain actions to calm yourself, like drinking alcohol or taking some medicine, or behaving in some way that you don't want to. So if you are in that situation, if it's so strong, do one thing that really helps: to look up as high as you can with your eyes, look into your head. That is actually breaking the state. That is giving your brain like a pattern interrupt, and you will feel different afterwards. I've done this, and the emotion was actually gone, and so then I could feel much calmer, and I could control the situation from a conscious point of view instead of reacting to it. Or another thing you can do is, to have the same effect, is to count backwards from 5 to 1. Just count mentally: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, that is disconnecting your pattern, that you're having, that's happening there, and your brain is invited to stop the reaction that it normally does. It gets you into an alpha state. Doing both of those exercises gets you into an alpha state, which is a calm state that you have when you meditate, when you're collected and calm. So these two things are very helpful to gain control back over yourself. And then I invite my people and myself and clients to actually lean into the fear, to face it, to meet up with it. Because if you ignore it, it is becoming bigger as it actually is. And the more you're ignoring it, and time has gone by, and every time it happens you're ignoring it, it actually grows. Because it's uninvestigated. It has its own reign, it can carry on doing its thing, and you have never interfered with it. You've never taken back your control over the fear. If you're ignoring it, you're letting it run you. So the fear has the control. Can you see? So the first thing that we want to do is to take back your power. And you can do that by meeting up with it. So the first thing you might have to do is to get the fear back into proportion. It probably feels huge, doesn't it? It feels much bigger than you, and you yourself feel really tiny, you might feel this big. And that, of course, is not a very favorable position to be in, right? So to change that, you can look the fear into the eye, and you by knowing this now, by learning that the fear is actually a thought-based experience. So there's a belief that's so strong that your brain is believing and taking on, and therefore it's giving you all the body symptoms, the body, maybe heart race, butterflies, sweating, stuttering, feeling tension, losing your words. All of that's happening because the fear thinks you are in fear, and therefore it wants to protect you. And we don't really want the brain to do all that, because then you are going to be thrown out of action. You're not going to be able to perform in a way that you want to perform or be your own true natural self. So we've got to lean into the fear, and we have to know, hey fear, I know you are a thought, you are a belief from the past, and you've come up before, and this time I want to face you. I want to actually meet up with you instead of running or ignoring you or distracting myself. And by just doing that, you are becoming, and also consciously making yourself at least the same size as the fear. So you're looking into its eyes, so to speak. Now you're at eye level. You're not smaller than the fear anymore. You're the same size. Just by deciding to do that, you can take back your power that much. Now, if you want to go a step further, and you can, you're going to shrink the fear even further, because you know that the fear is a belief. It comes from childhood, when you were actually very little, usually between 3 and 5. And your dad or mum, who was involved in the scene that caused the fear in you, was much bigger, and they were the authoritarian figures. And therefore the fear is so huge, and you are so small. But that is not the case anymore. You've grown up, you're an adult now, and you can take back your power. So by understanding your fear now, so you're going a step further, you're going to talk with the fear, and you could ask a question. What is it exactly that you're so scared of? Ah, okay, I see. And what do you think will happen then? Oh yeah, we don't want that. No, of course not. And is it likely that that is going to happen again? Because you remember, that is something that happened in the past, right? And just because you haven't investigated this fear, you are assuming the same thing will come again. But now, if you're speaking to it, and you're speaking therefore to the inner child, and you're asking it what it was so scared of and what it thinks that will happen, then you're giving it your compassion, you're giving it your understanding, and the child feels hurt. So now it has got your attention, and it has got your support. And if you now ask it another question, that helps it to even resolve this fear. Now you are in a different situation, and you can decide the outcome that you'd like to have. So maybe you're afraid of the person you're speaking to. Could be a boss, or maybe your landlord, or a teacher, or professor, or some person that you have respect for. You imagine that this person is going to be acting, reacting, or responding to you in a very nice, friendly way, and not in the way that you assume he or she might react. So doesn't that already immediately calms you down and gives you a thought that it's like an anchor? So you're thinking now, this person is going to act in a friendly way, and there's no danger any longer because this person is actually friendly. So then immediately you will feel better. And another thing you can do, which is even better, so that you're not depending on the other person's reaction or responding, you can take back the power that you have given that other person. Because, you are expecting them to judge you or tell you off or be angry, something like that. And instead, you are going to say to yourself, I am going to do my absolute best here. By giving myself, the praise already in advance, by telling myself, I'm going to do my best. And that's it. And nobody else has the power over me, because I decide that I'm going to do my best. And if that's not good enough for the other person, that's their problem. So, you see, you take back your power and you're coming back to yourself and you are deciding, I am going to do it the best I can. And that is very powerful. Can you see that? So I hope this was helpful. Take back your power. Do not let the fear run you any longer. Practice this. It could easily take a few goes. But when you do it, it will get better. And if you don't do it, it will get worse. So what's your decision? Let me know in the comments. And please like my videos so it gets out there more, and subscribe to my channel